Why are you always in red?
I love.
Hey peeps, welcome back to Saisa Munga. This is still Saisa Munga. We are still in the month of November with the lady always in red, Keziah Mwangi. Why are you always in red?
I love.
And we are here to discuss about love. But before we do that, I want to say thank you for the love, thank you for the support, thank you for coming through, thank you for subscribing, thank you for commenting, and thank you for liking. In the month of November, we're discussing youth. Can you see us? Still with Keziah Mwangi. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Unataka kujiintroduce tena sahi ama
mimi ni
umekujua?
ule bado mimi ni Keziah, bado I'm married, bado I'm born again, bado I'm a mother, bado I love you.
Yes.
Still me.
Oh, that's amazing. Maybe you need to tell them your son is
My
how?
son is 11 years old. Can you imagine? 11.
Hey,
Yes.
umefanya kazi.
Abibi of my
Umepambana.
youth. Nimepambana. Hey.
That is amazing.
Parenting is the only job you learn on the job.
You learn on the job.
Ainanga rehearsal.
Ainanga
Learn on the
rehearsal.
job.
Yeah, so the question is, you as a mother, you as a guardian, you as a sister, you as a cousin, you as a sibling, are you validating these young ones, you know? Are you telling them, you look good with that hairstyle? Oh, your shoe is looking good today. Oh, your jeans are well ironed today. Are you validating them, or they're coming to this platform to validate them? You know? And that is what is leading to our topic for today.
Youth and sex.
Yes, youth and sex. Because someone is saying somewhere you are very beautiful. You know?
Maybe parents need to be more involved with the youth. That's the standard thing.
Yeah.
The first role model to any child is the parent.
Yeah.
So if you're not reassuring your child what the kind of a person they are, they're going to find that assurance somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because that's what we are created to feel.
Yeah.
You want to
they are not being affirmed, so they are looking for affirmation
from somewhere else. Yeah. Because everyone wants to be affirmed.
Yeah.
If you dress up and nobody tells you you look beautiful, you'll be like, what's happening?
Something,
And that's why that's why there are rewards. If someone succeeds, they're given a reward. If you're number one, you're given a reward, because that's just how we are. So if you're not giving your child the reward, and I'm doing reward because they're in different types, if you're not giving them the reward, then they're going to find that reward elsewhere. And sometimes getting that reward leads them to being abused, leads them to being exploited, being misused.
And actually, it's like something very interesting Shiko said, the guest we had for our previous episode when we were talking about social media, Shiko said that she sees people in relationship goals, and she's the only one who is single, and she's wondering, why can't anybody see, is there something wrong with me? And then they are cropping up in self-esteem issues that didn't exist. So how do we as sisters, as siblings, as parents, how do we deal with this?
Just be there, be involved. You know, parenting is being involved. And unfortunately, when you're not involved, when there's a void, every child needs to be parented. So if you're not filling that void of a parent, something else will fill that void. So whatever it is that is going to fill that void.
If someone is not telling the child, I love you, and someone else is texting, morning, evening, lunch hour, I love you, you are the best thing, you are the sunshine, you are the ocean,
and then you go here beating your child because they went and someone else told them they got into an affair, and you're angry, but you participated in them being in that affair. And then through that affair, then we come to they end up having sex and doing those things. And that is where we are here to discuss sex.
We are here to discuss sex,
youth and sex.
At the beginning of the episode, you gave a fact saying that 8 out of 10 are sexually active.
8 out of 10. They have either they have had sex, or they are having sex, or chances are they are going to have sex very soon.
Okay.
80%.
What? That's like a really high number.
That's a really high number. So what is causing these youths to be sexually
before you go cause, who are they having sex with? Is it within themselves, or people who are older, or
all of them?
Okay.
Because right now I am dealing with some teenagers that some have had sex, are pregnant actually. Like as young as 12-year-old.
What?
Yes.
What?
As young as, actually, let me show you, there's a 9-year-old right here in our neighborhood.
Who is pregnant?
Yes.
At 9?
And guess who is the baby daddy?
Please, I don't want to guess.
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
It's the father.
Of the child?
Yes.
The actual father or the stepfather?
The actual father.
My
of
God.
The child. But that's a story for another day.
My God.
Yeah.
I'm
so
sure.
The reality is, youths are having sex. Okay. They're having sex with themselves. They're having sex, which is sexual abuse. They're having sex with older
people, yes. And isn't that a crime in itself?
It is a crime. But
if there's no evidence, we can't prosecute.
And then there's no evidence that's really hard to get like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
yes. So the youths are having sex, and that's a reality that we need to face. So we need to ask ourselves, why are they having sex? Okay, what is participating in them having sex at this rate? Because
the rate is very high.
It's way above average, if I can say that. It's way above average. It's 80%. That's very high. So what is the main contributor to sex happening? No, it ranges. It differs. In the urban environment, like Nairobi and the urban setup, it is media influence.
Media influence.
Social
media part of it as
social media, TV programs, soap operas, those things.
Commercialization of adverts, because every advert right now is sexual.
You see, that can lead to a young person being intrigued. You know, like in soap operas, what happens? They don't kiss because, of course, it's TV. So they live in a place where you're in suspense.
Where you conclude for yourself.
But you see, me and you, we can conclude for ourselves. But a teenager or a young person, they cannot. They want to go and find out. So what happens after this? What then they go on
in that discovery and to explore, and then
they find out, they get intrigued, they get hooked. That's how people have sex. That's how they get to have sex. Of course, no, there's the other reasons why people have sex in those like Wajir and those other areas, which is poverty and early marriages and all that. But our main culture, unfortunately, and that we can't do much about it because we can't change culture. But what we are concerned about is the media influence and our youths that are being influenced into having sex. Okay. And one we have said it's media. The other one is curiosity. They're just curious. They know sex exists. So they go and try to experiment among themselves. Okay. So they experiment and then they have sex and then they get pregnant some and they get diseases, then they get mental issues. It just creates so many chaos. The other reason why youths have sex is because they want to feel complete. And you might not understand, it might be like peer pressure. So me, I've done it, you've not? Me, I've done it, Then they go, so they want to do it to fulfill, to like feel part of they don't want to miss out, the fear of missing out thing in the form of influence. So they don't want to miss out. So they go and have sex. So that those are some of the reasons those are the three major reasons why youths are having sex. And they are so influential, like the media one is just everywhere and there's nothing. And
when you look everywhere, it's about sex everywhere. Every commercial is about sex, every advert is about sex. News are sensualized. There's a lot to remind you that if you had not thought about sex today,
you have to think about
a billboard will remind you. And something else will remind you. As in, there's something.
We need to be alive. Like parents, you need to be stopped. Most people are like, no, my child can't do that. Let's stop being in denial.
How do I as a parent know that my 12-year-old is probably having sex?
Or they know about sex. Let's assume.
Okay, let's not assume they're having. Even how do I start that conversation with my 12-year-old?
You should start it with what year old? 5-year-old.
Isn't 5 too early?
No. Right now, a 5-year-old knows everything about sex.
5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Nursery.
Huyu atameenda nursery kweli? Hii Matiang'i ameruhusiwa kwenda nursery.
They know about sex. So we are here waiting. Actually, my child has to be 18 years for me to talk to them about sex. But they have known about it all along since they were in class 1.
So now we know the cause. We know why they're having sex.
They're having sex,
How do we, at this point in time, how do we then interject?
Equip them with the right information. Unfortunately, most of them do not have the right information.
How do we do that?
For example, a 12-year-old who went out there and had sex and got pregnant, that means, first of all, they didn't have the right information that you can have sex and get pregnant.
Or wanasema ilikuwa tu mara moja.
Or even this one of there's no penetration. The way they're telling and they get pregnant for that because we know how biology that happens. Then they get pregnant, so they don't have the right information. So if we equip them with the right information and we say things as they are, we shy away. Even as parents, we shy away a lot to talk to our children about sex.
But imagine if you are, and I know you are a parent. Does it mean you have had this conversation, or your husband the father has had this conversation with your 11-year-old son?
Yes, we have had it, and we do not have the part where we call penis. I don't know what. If it's a penis, we call it a penis. If it's a vagina, we call it a vagina. And I define sex as it's a penis goes inside a vagina. Stop saying it's when two people go into a room,
and
or
then
when
they
close the door,
and then go in the blankets and then cover themselves.
Exactly. So if that child who knows that's what sex is goes out there and finds a crooked man and decides to just get the baby into a car, the baby like, no, this is not sex. We're not in a room. You're not in bed. and they got exploited. But if you told them it's when the penis goes inside a vagina, then they will know. If this man tries to put his thing inside me, this is sex and this is wrong. I feel like that would be the key thing that needs to be done.
Speak to a parent who is not able to. Unajua, it's easier because you're a counselor or because you interact with this every day. But imagine how do I start that conversation probably to my 9-year-old?
A child that you gave birth to, that you changed pampers to, you cannot talk to them about sex.
It is a child.
Is it the parent that is shying away from it, or is it the child that is shying away from it?
I think it's a parent.
Then why? Ask the parent should ask themselves, why am I shying away from discussing? It's like there's a hole right there. Will you shy away from telling your child, but if you go to that place, you might fall on that hole?
You will definitely say it because it's a danger.
It's a danger, and that's what parents need to capture this thing as. It is a danger. It's actually red zone.
Yeah.
You know the red zone.
When you
it's
in the red zone,
there's no point of fear. Or if you see your child is about to fall off a cliff, would you risk your life to try and grab them?
Oh, you would even fall probably before the child. Yeah.
So it's not about being comfortable anymore. It's not about how I feel as a parent. It's about something that should be done. Something what may. Whether you're going to write it as a script and read to your child, you should not just do whatever it takes.
But you have to talk.
If you cannot completely talk to your child about it, or which I don't understand why, but if you cannot, there are people out there who can. For me, I offer myself. I get called and I speak to children on it.
If you cannot have this conversation with your daughter or with your son, call Kez.
Call
I'll leave
me.
her number in the description box. Call her. She will come. She will have this conversation with your child, and this conversation will be sorted. And what is the role of our relationship with God in this conversation? Because you see, when I want to tell my child the truth about sex, I have to start from the originality of sex, from the truth of sex, and that is from God's part of it. Is it that we also as the church have failed completely in that line or in that regard?
You know, there's so many. You know, a church is it's the conscience of the society.
Exactly.
And so the consciousness is not only on sex matters. It's also on faith and everything. So we cannot expect the church to talk about sex the whole year.
Definitely not.
Yeah?
It's not
And we
even
do not
viable.
expect the church to cover sex, a congregation talking to people, cover it to details. Okay?
Yeah,
So
because
the church-
the uniqueness of every individual will not be covered.
Exactly. Then some people will get lost in the loopholes, in the conversation.
Yeah.
So the church cannot cover. It can play a part, and it should play a part. And I feel the church is playing a part. If you ask me, I feel the church is playing a part because
Sisi ndio hatusikizi.
sisi ndio hatusikizi ama it's not tackling to detail, which I think it is impossible unless sisi tunaenda leo mtoto mmoja anaenda church anaongeleshwa mwingine kesho
Unless
anaenda
we kill them in
anaongeleshwa.
that regard.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the only way I feel that we
Yeah.
can do it. But even as a parent, if you go back and discuss sex as when you're introducing God to your child, sex should be part of it.
Okay. When I'm telling my child about God, I should also talk about sex.
Yeah, because most of the time we say there was Adam, there was Eve, and then they gave birth to children. How did they give birth? How did she get pregnant? You see, from the beginning, sex just comes in.
So start with it from that point.
Start with it from that point. And then this is the reality that people don't even understand or people don't even know. Do you know when you're talking to your child, you're the one who is shying from it. They are not
Mimi ndio
shying.
nasikia ni mapema.
When you
Mimi ndio nasikia
because unajua ni nini and you feel like it's a dirty thing. But then we say sex is a dirty thing. Who told us sex is a dirty thing?
Maybe it's the way it was. Maybe it's culture. Maybe
It's
it's the way
worldview.
it was introduced to us.
The way it was introduced to us by people, by our parents.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
then we carry it all the shyness.
We passed it on.
Exactly. So if we talk about sex the way we talk about shoes, it becomes a normal thing.
It becomes a normal
Then-
conversation.
Yes. So you can even the children will be able to say no. Oh no, say you want me to have sex with you? No, not yet. They don't have to shy away. They can even come and tell you, Mom, so and so wanted me to have sex with them because it's not something that they are shying away from.
It's a conversation.
It is a conversation.
So you have to open these channels of
You have to open
conversation.
these
Now that
channels
we're
of
discussing our relationship with God, where is the role of purity?
Purity is everything. See, that is actually when I talk to the youths, I give them something called a purity vow. It's actually a certificate that you sign.
That you sign.
You sign, and it even has witnesses. It's a contract.
Binding.
It's a
Is it
binding
lawfully
contract.
binding?
It's a covenant
Yes.
between God and
me.
you
Yeah.
and maybe the witness, maybe your parent or someone else. Because if you understand why you're not having sex, if a child do not understand why they are not having sex, then they don't have a reason to not have it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You've put it very
Like you're telling a child, don't eat that. Like, so why should I not eat it? If it's sweet, it's going to spoil your teeth. Everything has a consequence. So if you're not
So you need to explain the reasons why and everything else.
and reasons why and everything else.
Let's talk about this year has been really hard because of COVID. Has that changed the way people view sex, especially the young people? Has that has an impact in that front?
Unfortunately, it has. They now know more about sex than they did before because
Okay.
they've had a lot of time to interact with sexual situations around them. If it's a girl, they're on holiday for longer. So if she was in boarding school, now she's at home and boys are at home, then she has more exposure than she was. If it's social media or TV or everything else, no, they have more time spending
To
on
really,
this, to see these
yeah.
things, then automatically they are programmed even more onto sex. So this time, of course, it has made them
more. It has heightened.
it has heightened. Now they know more about it. Some are even more curious about it. A lot of them have actually had sex now more than before, or some have even had sex now that did not even have sex before. Okay, because even the way it happened, as we're continuing with work, you've gotten to a place where no, it's normal. Just leave them at home and you go.
Yeah, or you can even work from home and you don't know what your child is doing.
And even we're also stressed.
Oh
as
yes, stress
parents.
levels are very high.
We have been stressed financially, everything. So you're like, we don't have the time or sort of the attention, the time to give more attention to our children than when they were on holiday, because I'm only them for 4 weeks, so you're trying so much to spend
you
time
will
with
strain
them.
yourself to be
But
there.
now it's indefinite, so you're like,
Let's just go on.
let me
with
just
it.
go on with life, and then you leave them to the
To
kisses
the-
and
to the prey.
to the prey, to the
innocent lambs to the
innocent
prey.
lambs.
Yeah.
No, but purity. You mentioned purity, and I want to go back a little bit about purity. As a society, we do not reward purity any longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do not
Appreciate.
We do not appreciate it. Like if someone is not having sex, normally you'll be like, "What is wrong with you? Hey, you're not. You're missing out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Are you
or do you
okay?
have a problem? Yeah.
If you tell someone I'm waiting till marriage, they're like, "Huh? What's wrong with you?" But previously, I would think it was, you're not having sex. Oh, that's nice. You'll be congratulated for it.
Yeah.
But society has changed because we do not value purity any longer. So we need to teach more about purity. The church need to maybe emphasize on purity as parents, as guardians, and everyone. Even you guys that are on media,
On this platform, we
these
need to talk
platforms that
about
people are
purity.
watching you.
Yeah.
Remind people that being pure is something that should be celebrated, something that someone should look forward to being.
Oh wow. I want us to wrap up. I want to give you a minute to speak to the parents, but before we do that, if you have a question, you have a comment, you have a challenge, kindly let's meet at the comment section.
No, to the parents, let me start with the parents. You're the first role model, you're the first teacher to your child. So if they have sex, unfortunately, if you do not know about it, you're missing on a part of their life that is important. So be intentional in talking to your children about sex. It's not about comfort anymore. It's not about are they going to listen? It's a red zone. It's a red zone alert. Talk to them about sex, because 80% is a lot. If you think about your child, in 10 of them, ask yourself, is my child on the 2% or the 20% or on the 80%? Yeah? To the youth that are thinking about having sex, there's nothing that you're missing out to not having sex. If anything, when you have sex, you're going to get more problems because it's not time. God created everything for its own time. And I know nobody's going to have sex and feel bad about it and tell you that it was terrible. Everyone is about how nice it was, how good I felt. A youth that has had sex and it was terrible will not go and tell another youth that the sex was terrible. They're going to say, oh, it was nice, you should do it. Yeah? Right? So the youth that
maybe
is
misery
thinking
loves
about,
company.
of course. So the youth that think about having sex, it's not time yet. Purity is something that should be celebrated. For the ones that have had sex, there's something called secondary virginity. A secondary virginity is not physical, but it is something that is emotional and intentional. You say, from today henceforth, I am going to preserve my purity. I'm going to preserve my purity, and it's something that can be, there's something that is celebrated as well. I love to say, that if yesterday I ate something and it messed me in my stomach, I'm not going to eat it today. That's the same thing secondary virginity works. I had sex and it's not something good, so I'm not going to do it today henceforth. And of course it has repercussions, because the risks that you would have had are no longer there. To the society and everyone else that is, if you're not a mother, you're not having sex and all that, everyone has a role to play.
Okay.
Everyone has a role to play. And let me go back a bit to the parents. The reason that as we have discussed, that the youths are having sex is because of the media and the TV and the internet and everything. So be intentional in allowing your child to watch the right content on TV. It is okay to tell your child do not watch that. Actually, it is okay to switch off the TV. It's okay to say you're not going to watch this program, because sometimes
you need to put control.
Something is programming them, and if their brain gets it, it is very hard to control their body. But if you control their brain, then you're going to control their body.
Oh wow, thank you so much. I hope you are loving, and I know you're loving this content. This is Saisa Munga together with Keziah, and November had never looked this amazing. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Between now and then, please take care of yourself. Help someone, be with someone, be of value to someone, because we all have a part to play, like Kez has said. Thank you so much. Big shout out to Keziah Mwangi for making this episode come true. She's been the camera woman the whole time. Thank you for sticking around.
She's done a good job.
She's done such a good job and an amazing job. I look forward to your comments, I look forward to your questions, and I look forward to hearing from you. I'm Saisa Munga on all platforms, and I will leave Keziah's information on the description box. So between now and then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.